Welcome to the Get Fit Guys quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. There's a principle in exercise called SAID, and SAID stands for Specific Adaptations to Imposed Demands. This means that our body eventually adapts to the demands that we place upon it, and for people who lift weights, this means that you must constantly change or alter your routine in some way in order to burn more calories, make your weightlifting workouts harder, and get better results. But there's far more you can do to make a weightlifting workout harder than simply brutally adding more weight. So in this episode, you'll learn 10 quick and dirty tips for getting more work done, burning more calories, and making your muscles feel it more. So let's begin with tip number 1 for how to make weightlifting harder. And tip number 1 is bouncing. Rather than taking a pogo stick to the gym, bouncing actually involves doing mini reps at end ROM. ROM stands for range of motion, and end ROM refers to the very end of the range of motion. For example, the end ROM of a bodyweight squat is when your knees are bent at the very bottom of the motion. At this point in the squat, you could do 5 to 10 mini reps or very short bouncy squats and then stand. Bouncing works for push-ups, crunches, lunges, curls, and just about any basic movement. Use your creativity. Number 2, explosions. Pyromaniac readers, please settle down. This has nothing to do with dynamite. For explosions, hold a movement in the toughest position, then explode quickly up and down, then back into the toughest position. For example, when you get to the bottom of a push-up, you can hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, then push up as fast as possible, with extra points if your hands actually leave the ground, and land back in the bottom of the push-up. Number 3, quarter reps. For quarter reps, do your exercise as you normally would, but in the very middle of the movement, you stop, do a quarter rep, and then continue. For example, while performing a lunge, you would stop when your knee is halfway bent, stand halfway, then continue through the lunge, which basically turns every 1 rep into 1.5 reps. I suppose quarter reps could also involve lifting rolls of quarters, but I imagine that activity just can't possibly burn too many calories. Number 4, ladder reps. For ladder reps, do 5 mini reps in the bottom range of motion, 5 mini reps in the middle range of motion, and 5 mini reps in the top range of motion. For example, during a bodyweight dip, you would do 5 reps with your elbows bent at the bottom of the dip, 5 reps in the middle of the dip, and then 5 reps at the top of the dip. Do not take a ladder to the gym. You will not need it for ladder reps, and they probably won't let you in. Number 5, stripping. Contrary to how it might sound, stripping does not involve taking your clothes off at the gym, although pole dancing cardio classes are increasing in popularity. Instead, stripping involves lifting a weight until you cannot perform any more repetitions, decreasing or stripping the weight, then continuing with the same exercise for as many repetitions as possible. In a single set, you can strip the weight to your heart's content until a tiny, embarrassingly small weight is making you grunt and groan. Number 6, superset. In a superset, you perform an exercise set immediately after a different exercise set with no rest between those sets. There are 3 different types of supersets. In the first, you do a set for one muscle group, such as leg extensions for your quadriceps, then with no rest, you do a set for an opposing muscle group, such as leg curls for your hamstrings. In the second type of superset, you perform both sets for the same muscle group, such as chest flies, followed by chest presses. Finally, you can do a giant superset in which you perform 3 to 4 back-to-back exercises for the same muscle group, such as triceps pushdowns to narrow grip push-ups to dips to tricep overhead extensions. Please do not blame me for any excessive soreness after a giant superset. Number 7, super slow sets. As you might guess, in a super slow set, you perform your repetitions in a very slow, controlled manner. While super slow training can be a waste of time to do all the time, if something like a regular push-up is very easy for you, try to do a push-up with a 4 count down and a 4 count back up. See what I mean? Number 8, forced repetitions. Forced repetitions are exercises that are assisted by a training partner or a spotter. They're typically performed with a much heavier weight than you could normally lift on your own, or significantly more repetitions than you could do by yourself. As you reach failure, your spotter helps you, or forces you, to complete the set. Number 9, negatives. In a negative set, you slowly lower a heavier weight than you would normally use, and either cheat to raise the weight back up, or have a partner help you. For example, if you're trying to increase the amount of weight you can bench press, you would slowly lower a very heavy weight to your chest, then have a spotter grab the bar and assist you in pushing the weight back up to the starting position. Speaking of cheating, believe it or not, this is actually another strategy, and it is strategy number 10. Although attention to good form is usually recommended when you're lifting weights, cheating may involve rocking back and forth with your body, arching your back, or using an extra part of your body to perform an exercise. For example, if you're pressing a weight overhead with one arm, which is called a single arm overhead press, you could jump, arch your back, or use the opposing arm to help you out just a bit. Please be careful with cheating, that you know what you're doing and you don't injure yourself. So, now that you know how to bounce, explode, cheat, and strip, you have no excuse not to get more results from your weightlifting. If you have other strategies that you use to make your workout harder, please share them with other listeners on the Get Fit Guy Facebook page. I'll put a link to that in the show notes to this episode, or you can go to facebook.com and do a search for Get Fit Guy. In the meantime, while you're over there at the Facebook page, you may also want to surf over to twitter.com/getfitguy or head over to the quickanddirtytips.com website and sign up for the free Get Fit Guy newsletter. Until next time, this is the Get Fit Guy asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.